Yo guys, what's up and welcome to the World Series 2018 game number 1. Just before I jump into this, which is going to be aTTaCkME against Bowzer, two pretty decent players, so we're going to start with some pretty decent games for this World Series. Just thought I'll quickly show you the bracket that I've built in Excel. Round number 1 we've got here, so we've got all the players. This is down the left hand side. Not really going to make any predictions or anything, I'm just going to kind of show you who's involved in this tournament at the moment. I do have the prize money and stuff, which I'll tell you in a second as well. So first of all, in this tournament then we've got Quadruple, we've got Logica, we've got Pablo Escobar, Urak, who actually I don't know who that is. We've got Marlboro Red, which is a guy called Daniel. If you're familiar on my stream and stuff, sometimes a guy called Daniel. His surname begins with T. I probably won't try and pronounce that because I can't pronounce it. Then we've got Freestyler, also a good player. We've got Herb, 9aTTaCkME, don't know who that is. We've got Awan Emperor. We've got Boyka. We've got Fargo aTTaCkME, or I think I've spelled that wrong. I think it's aTTaCkME. Just don't want to save it. We've got AKA Goes Uber. Roll Cristiano El Nino, and then they'll kind of face off, and the winner of all those will go into the semi-final and ultimately the grand final. Down in the south we've got Amin MC, we've got Bounty Hunter, Bowzer TaCkME, which is his first games we're going to view today. Two pretty decent players, and we're going to start off with some decent games, like I said. We've got Zars and Scuba, also going to be pretty decent games. Decent player from either Ukraine, I think, or Russia. I always get those two mixed up. I think he's from Ukraine. Against Scuba, obviously a pretty decent player. We've got Exile, Sexy, Leikeze, Firelord, all known players. If you follow in Zero, you should recognize these names. We've got Saeed or Syed. We've got Kilwa, Spekovic. We've got me. We've got Jeremy B, and we've got Peter. So some pretty tough players here, like Sexy, Scuba, aTTaCkME, and Bowzer, also pretty decent. Peter's pretty decent as well. So yeah, there's the bracket, and now we're going to jump straight into the first set of games. Okay, so here we are with game number 1 of the World Series 2018. Like I said, I'm going to try and keep up with all of these games, try and post them out live as the games happen. I want to try and cast every single game either live or going to post it on YouTube. So straight away we've got Curious against Bowzer. Curious is also known as aTTaCkME. He is in the north with a Demo General in yellow. A pretty standard build, and in the south we've got Bowzer. A little bit of army luck. This first round is best of 7, so it's first to win 4 games. And we've got Bowzer in the south with China. He's going a fast barracks. It's also doing a supply. And then in the center we've got Curious. Looks like he's set his terrorist on guard mode. It looks like he's done that terrorist pretty deep in. Probably he's done the guard mode there, and he's currently going after the barracks. You put it on guard mode because obviously he can't see everything that we can see. He can only see the fog. And at the moment, the terrorist looks like he's actually going for the barracks, even though more units are there now. So if Bowzer's paying attention, should have gunned that down and then ran away, but terrorist does run into the red guard and kill it. We've got a few terrorists coming out. Pretty standard build from Curious. Bit of army luck here, to be honest. Have we got another terrorist there, or is it a worker? It's a worker there. We've got 2 tank hunters garrisoning these buildings here. The RPG is going to beat it to it for Curious. Worker going down to red guard, that's why he's done the red guard. These supplies don't look to be perfect on both sides. He has done that though, so we get the mines to get a nice spread, so there's no units that are going to come fast through there. I think he probably could squeeze through there with the technical. In the center we have got the technical coming forward. We've got a tunnel also going up, taking a little bit of damage. I think that tunnel shotty should finish though. The technical is going down. That'll be really unfortunate if that technical does go down. I think it will just escape just with a few HP, and the tank hunter isn't able to take it out. We've got the red guard over here, should be paying attention and trying to take out that worker. Looking pretty standard from both players really. Now going for a fast airfield. Don't like the supply placement really of both of these supplies. He's not going to be collecting anything very fast. These two are both really decent players, so by all means these are going to be hopefully some decent games, as long as we get some better armies in the next game. But it looks like Bowzer is doing pretty well so far. Technical coming through again, they're taking a little bit of damage from the Gatling, but it's going to go all the way through. That one's going to go down to the mines. That's kind of why he's done that placement, so actually it probably does pay off. The reason to say it's not the perfect supply placement is because it's not collecting as efficiently as possible. Terrorists, only 3 from the Demo General, going to take out the War Factory. Well played by Curious. That's 2,000 lost for Bowzer. No mines there, a little bit of a gamble, but he's going to manage to take out a truck for it. So 1 truck and 1 War Factory already gone down. That technical not been paying attention at all. Got a gap coming in the supply line here. Taz not paying attention at all. Don't think he's realised workers are going to take some damage from that gap. Actually, the gat's just gone behind and actually allowing him to collect, or allowing two at least to collect. We've got another technical coming down the centre. On the right hand side, the tunnel is complete. The red god didn't take it out. We've got quads coming out now. These quads should take out that, no problem. We have got this garrisoned, so he's got a little bit of range. And over here, Curious is now going with the tech RPG. That technical should escape. It takes two MiGs, unless you leaving the technical standing, doing nothing. This MiG should go down now. Just 1200 lost. MiG didn't really achieve anything. That's also vetted up from it as well, so it's actually going to self-heal. This is looking very bad for Bowzer. The War Factory did go down, which has stopped unit production for a little bit. MiG has gone down, a little bit of damage done there. And he's been harassed as well, so he's not able to collect very efficiently. Now got a load of quads out. Looks like Taz is playing this pretty decent. We've now got an oil capture coming out of Taz as well. I don't really like going fast MiGs, trying it like this against Demo. I don't think it's necessarily the best strategy, especially because their War Factory has to go on. I think it's like a minute that the Black Napalm needs to upgrade, and the MiGs just go down so easily unless you're going to have the armor upgrade. I don't think did he take out one quad. I think he took out one quad. That Gat took out a second quad. He's going to flame a few of his own units there. Now the flame wall's going the other way. I don't know if there's any lag or not. There's no other players in there. Usually the flame wall, you do it wrong when there's lag. It's really easy to do wrong. There is another MiG out now, but no Black Napalm. Got a bunker going down. Another bunker going down. So Bowzer really, he's actually playing pretty well, but Taz has just done that little bit better and caused a little bit too much damage, in my opinion. Now the oil is up for Curious as well. So it's not going to do Bowzer any favours. Curious just getting more and more money. He is bunkering in though, and that's what China needs to do. China needs to kind of lock off the sides, like he has done with the bunkers and with the mines, and then kind of push through the middle, either with tech or with just loads of units like War Factory, 2 War Factories, outpost Gats, flamers. No Black Napalm out just yet. Considering he's done a MiG. Fast MiG build is actually doing pretty well, but Taz now collecting from the centre as well, also bunkering off that side a little bit more with a demo trap on this left hand side, another tunnel pushing forward. I think a technical is going to come in and probably do terrorists. I would imagine the bunker's going to go down, and now the quads are going to be able to push through. Bow's not really probably expecting that, and now that leaves the whole front of his base wide open. The MiGs, I guess he's upgrading to Black Napalm now because that War Factory's gone a little bit quiet. No units have come out for a while. Got another barracks going down. I think he's going to go. He's already got the capture upgrade, so barracks going to go down. It should go down to that terrorist. Just a little bit more XP for Curious. Curious also now going for another supply, so he's going to build four supplies. He's now getting his palace as well. This is looking really bad for Bowzer. Curious playing really well, just really solid, continually pushing forward. Loads more MiGs going down. Still no Black Napalm. Bunker going down, a MiG going down, Flamer going down, RPG going down, or Tank Hunter going down. The power's going to be going down. That has managed to survive the mines and actually harassing the supply. Both trucks are going to go down. Power is now down. Bowser's trying to rebuild it, but
our power is low.
I really think by the time Bowzer gets any form of defense out, these quads are just going to vet up and just tear through this base. This alone, even if all these quads died, he's got so much to fall back on. Curious is just playing really well. There's no chance really. It's looking like a 1-0 for Curious. Quad's just continuing to take out units. That quad is actually taking out both trucks and then to continue to take out the supply. Those quads are all just insane. They're all vetted and scrapped. Really hard for Bowzer to combat. I prefer to go 2 War Factories with Bowzer's situation there rather than the fast MiGs. But well played by Curious. Bowzer tried to hold on and actually tried to play pretty solid, but I didn't really like the MiGs idea, and ultimately that cost him the game. Not to mention the armies as well. So well played by Curious. Okay, guys, we are jumping into the second game. We're going to be on Gorge Drought this time, and we've got Curious in the north, in the yellow, as Air Force, so another strong army for him. And we're going to see Bowzer's army actually got stealth, so actually a pretty balanced Pretty balanced matchup. Would say Air Force has got the advantage because it's just the better army altogether. And probably the strongest army in the whole game. So Bowzer is definitely an uphill battle here, but Stealth is by no means a weak army. It's probably the second strongest army, only to Air Force. So we'll see how Curious can handle this. He's going for 2 war factories. Sorry, not 2 war factories, 2 supplies, selling his command center, and then going for a war factory. Pretty standard, also pretty standard out of Bowzer. Skipping the tunnel over here to do a more aggressive tunnel over here. Then if he's going to go make terrorists and trying to go for the cars, because there are cars on this map. I think the cars are over here. It's either one of them or both of them. Not sure if he can go in both or not. But Bowzer actually looks like he's not going for that. He's going to defend his supply from a dozer drop. Meanwhile, Curious is actually going 1 war factory and 1 airfield. The airfield will probably to make 1 Raptor. Probably later upgrade to 2. First Raptor, you want to be taking out the technical if it's making any terrorists, which he is, and has Curious detected it. He's done a drone there, which is actually pretty good for detecting that one, but it's going to actually see this technical, and that's what he wants to be taking out. It's actually a little bit slow, that, so I don't know if this technical is going to be able to get across the map in time. Bowzer's got to cause enough damage in this game to be able to beat the Air Force later on, because the longer the game goes on, Air Force just gets stronger and stronger, especially with the general's points and stuff like that. Now Bowzer is going across the map. He has, I think, got 2 terrorists in there. I don't think he's got 3. So this is a really bad technical from Bowzer, to be honest. I'm not really sure what he's doing at all there. And the Raptor gets a lucky strike, and actually all of them units have gone down completely wasted. Really not sure what he's doing. And in the meantime, he has actually, that's a pretty good attack. I think that was just a distraction on his right hand side to completely miss that. He's actually gone for 3 or 4 RPGs in there, 3 RPGs, and that's actually taking out a Chinook. On this left hand side, we've got 3 more technicals, so actually Bowzer really keeping up the pressure. Is that Raptor going to land? I think it has to land very soon, unless he just keeps it circling, but it's going to be manual to keep it circling, because it always tries to land. In the meantime, the Vs are now going to engage the technicals. 1 V going down. This is actually looking very good for Bowzer. This is the kind of damage you want to be doing early on. Hellfire drones and the missile defenders are going to take it out. The Raptor going down, and then the Comanche coming out to save the day. In the meantime, we've got another technical. I think this is just a complete distraction. I don't think it's got anything inside it. As long as it keeps Taz busy while Bowzer is doing other stuff like upgrading to a 3rd war factory, sorry, 3rd supply, or even 4th supply, or even getting the oils. Not sure if he's going for the oils. He is going for the oils now. And then this left hand side, we've got is there a Raptor back out? No, it's not a Raptor back out. It's a Comanche just engaging the technicals. Bowzer continuing to creep forward with the tunnels, actually doing a really good job at spreading over the map. It kind of reminds me of StarCraft 2, when you're the Zerg and you've got to kind of sprawl out with all your, can't even remember what they're called, whatever those things are that spreads the creep, tumors or something like that. Obviously 0 hour a lot easier than StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 is all about the macro in 1,000 clicks a minute, or even a second, rather than 0 hours more tactical and micro based. So on this left hand side, we've got a little bit of a push. 4 RPGs in a quad, going to move pretty slowly. These Chinooks, of course, got the point defense lasers, so not going to take any hits from the RPGs that have been unloaded by those technicals. Technicals now going to go down to a Comanche. Comanche is going to vet up for that as well. Bowzer's going to try and take out the supply. I think he might actually succeed in taking out the supply, which is good, to be honest. Even if he loses his stuff, you're taking out the supply, you're hindering the opponent from gaining more and more momentum. In the meantime, Bowzer's actually got the oil. I always wonder on this map, if you've got the choice between taking that and that, if you're making units all the time, you're pumping out your war factory all the time, then probably the refinery is the better thing to get rather than the oil, because the oil gives you, I think, 1,000 a minute. But if you're constantly producing units, then it's better to get. And actually, Bowzer closes that out. Surprisingly, Curious really quits, and that takes it to 1-1. Bowzer just kept at the pressure, and just Curious, build all the wise, wasn't feeling it. He'd lost the supply on the left hand side. The Raptors going down, lost too many Vs and stuff like that. So actually, he's pulled it back 1-1. We'll jump into the third game. Okay, so here we are in the third game. We've got Curious as Air Force again. We're on Summer Arena, this map is called, and then we've got against the USA. This is really unfortunate for Bowzer. This is probably going to be a 2-1 just based on those armies. Unless Bowzer pulls something amazing out of the bag, this is going to be really really harsh for him because Air Force is just so much stronger than USA. All of these games, by the way, are random. There's no random in reverse or anything like that. It's just random games, which is when I made the King of the Hill tournament. If you've ever seen any games like that, the rules in that were exactly the same as this, and this was meant to be practice for people. The King of the Hill, so it was random all games, and you had no choice. It's supposed to be practice for people, to force people to play random against random. Plus, most 1v1s you play on online are going to be random versus random anyway, but it's kind of closer to a tournament format. A little bit weird from Curious. Oh, actually, he is against USA, so actually it's not so weird. One supply, sorry, 2 supplies, 1 airfield, and 1 barracks is actually pretty normal against USA. Bowzer has got to go for some real hard rush. It looks like he's going for the oils. He's done a forward war factory, which I don't think Curious has scouted. In the meantime, we've got some missile defenders unloading here. That laser lock is not quick enough. If he'd have laser locked instantly, if those were, then they haven't got a. That's really bad from Curious as well. This is really sloppy for both players. If he did laser lock quick, he could have taken out both of them Chinooks. Because he didn't laser lock straight away, he didn't. In the meantime, we've got a Chinook coming forward for Curious. I'm not sure if he's going to collect or if he's going to actually drop something off. He's actually going to drop something off, and that's actually going to really annoy Bowzer, because now he's not going to be able to collect with any Chinooks, because those missile defenders, laser locking or not, are going to do some serious damage. Over here we've got a V, and the missile defenders are actually grouped together now. It's actually looking not so bad for Bowzer, actually. He needs to take out these missile defenders, are the most important thing. Engaging a little bit like that and then changing your mind and going back is a bad decision. You need to make your decision, go for it, never just hesitate like that, because you just lose without killing anything. In the meantime, Bowzer has lost, looks like, both Chinooks. We've got another V coming forward. We've got 1 oil being captured over here. Got now Rangers out to defend this, so these missile defenders need to completely just run away, just run off, run over here to stop them collecting at least. In the meantime, Curious is collecting with the right hand side supply. Bowzer, in the meantime, is sending more Vs and actually doing some good crushes there. Actually defending the missile defenders now against the Rangers, actually doing a really good job. The airfield looks like it's going down, but the V, it should have gone around the corner and crushed those. Because he didn't, now the V's gone down, and now the Ranger's going to have to, sorry, the missile defender's going to have to run away, because the Ranger's going to chase them away. Okay, so the airfield has gone down, but Curious is still collecting with 2 full Chinooks. Meanwhile, Bowzer is getting the oils. He's now on 3 oils, I think. Of course, the garrison there, so depending on what's inside there, the Ranger's not going to be capturing the oil anytime soon. In the meantime, Curious is now back on 4 Chinooks. This is going to be really hard for Bowzer, because an air collecting with 4 Chinooks, no matter what he's going to be making, it's going to be hard to fight against. What Bowzer needs to do is actually park 1 V in front of each barracks and stop these units from being produced. You're just going to allow these units to be produced like that, and then you're going to have no chance. Even if you put the V behind the barracks like that, as soon as they pop out, your V starts attacking them anyway. 1 V going back to defend, going to have an unload there. Probably should be making some ranges and trying to engage this rather than sending a V. Your Vs need to be going forward and closing out the game by being aggressive, not defending. Rangers are out now, but they're not attacking. They are now. V needs to defend itself. The V is going to go down. Very sloppy from Bowzer. Bowzer needs to be completely on point. I know I'm being harsh saying that's a little bit sloppy, but if Bowzer's going to win this game, he needs to be completely on point. And so far he's not. Only a barracks has gone down there, so actually not the end of the world. In the meantime, Bowzer actually collecting, or capturing rather, some buildings. That's actually pretty good, actually, capturing 2 buildings like that. But in the meantime, Curious making a war factory and got a fire base out, which is actually going to be really difficult to deal with. Bowzer got some more Vs in the center. Needs to really fill these Vs with missile defenders. Not sure how much money he's got. Needs to completely fill them with missile defenders. Actually on 2 supplies now. Actually, it's not looking so bad for him. More and more Vs coming forward. This V I think is empty. It should go down. A bit of a trade. I say a bit of a trade. That one actually does escape. Power now being rebuilt after being killed by Bowzer. This is actually looking very, very good for Bowzer. It's still going to be difficult because you've got a fire base and you've got these point defense lasers, and there's still 2 barracks out. This war factory is being captured, and Taz being really, really slow to respond to that. I keep saying Taz, by the way. Curious and Taz are the same person, just in case anyone is confused. I don't know why he changes his name. Actually, Bowzer has completely taken over the whole map. He's now making a command center. He's on 2 supplies with 4 Chinooks. He's on 4 oils, or 3 oils. Now on another supply. So actually this is looking very, very good for Bowzer. But what he needs to do is group these Vs up, put loads of missile defenders in it, and then charge forward. He needs to be more and more aggressive. You can't allow Taz or Curious to be left alone at any point. And you'll see also there's a combat Chinook out now, which is going to cause super damage to Bowzer. Combat Chinook now being fully loaded up. These Chinooks are going to be able to collect long distance from there. It doesn't make much difference. In the meantime, these Vs are going to be chased down by the massive group of Vs. But we do also have the combat Chinook coming in, and the combat Chinook is probably going to cause massive damage to these. Combat Chinook is just so overpowered, completely trashing those Vs. Going to cause a little bit of damage to it, but ultimately they're going to be taken down by either the combat Chinook or by this this V. All the Vs going down. This is why I mean Bowzer should be more and more aggressive. He's got loads of money in the bank as well. He just needs to be continually pushing forward and just getting right in Taz's face, and do not allow Taz to do this. Loads of Chinooks going down for no reason at all. That one's going to escape with basically 0 HP. Combat Chinook is also going to escape. Another supply going down for Taz. Taz is slowly creeping back into this after such a good start and kind of good mid game. I'm actually going to turn the timer on so you can see how long the game is. Didn't realise that was off. He's now going to push forward. I feel it's a little bit too late because you kind of waited for this firebase to get up, and then you've waited for loads of missile defenders to get up as well, and you've attacked right into it. So that's caused massive damage. Lost about 3 Vs on an ambulance there. If you wanted to engage, you probably should have gone around this side, and also had more missile defenders in rather than just empty Vs. Empty Vs are not going to be good, especially now that combat Chinook is out. Loads of Chinooks going down for Bowzer. Bowzer actually not looking so good now. That's only got 1 Chinook there on the left hand side. The combat Chinook is now back in. Back on the battlefield. Loads of Vs going down. Finally making missile defenders now. Also making a strategy center. I feel like Bowzer is making unnecessary stuff. Like he made his command center, I don't agree with that. Making a strategy center, I don't agree with that. I would have just made 2 war factories, 2 barracks, and just spammed full Vs and just attacked right into his face. Probably round the back there. Spectre is now out, and this is what I mean. The longer you leave Air Force, you built that strategy center. Wow, congratulations. But it's been taken out by a Spectre because you waited too long in the game to kill the Air Force. You can't wait this kind of time to kill. Don't get me wrong, he's still doing well, but he could have, in my opinion, won the game before. Pathfinder's now out as well, so unloading Vs is now going to become impossible. Pathfinders and missile defenders inside of the combat Chinook on the right hand side. More Chinooks going down, all the infantry going down. This is going to be creating more and more XP for Curious, and no doubt he's going to have the strategy center and the carpet up later. This has actually also made a supply over here, which is really random. That's not going to live very long. I think maybe Bowzer made the strategy center so he could make Avengers, which actually isn't necessarily a bad idea. But I do feel like he could have won the game a lot sooner with just full Vs and just attacked. We've got an A10 strike, and actually that's going to do some pretty good damage. The war factory going to go down, and the power and the 5 base, actually doing really well. As far as A10s go, that's a pretty decent strike. Another strategy center going down. Still only collecting from one Chinook here. Collecting from another Chinook is more important, in my opinion, than making another strategy center. I don't even know if he needs a strategy center to make Avengers. I don't think he does. So the only advantage a strategy center is going to give him is the search and destroy and maybe a few upgrades if he wants them. In the meantime, Raptor's now up because Air Force has just got to that point where he can afford to make Raptors. They're going to take out some of the Vs. 5 bases and missile defenders is going to be really hard to break through. Not to mention backed up by Vs, but actually this is pretty good engagement for Bowzer. Needs to get these groups up now because the Raptors are going to come in and do more damage. It's actually looking very, very nice for Bowzer. Actually saying that, all the Vs have now gone down. All the Raptors should go down as well though. We've got a Avenger going down as well. That Avenger is just going to escape again on 0 HP. Lots of units escaping on 0 HP this game. Turned out to be a pretty decent game. V's engaging again in the center. Got the oil being recaptured. I think that's going to be like the 3rd or 4th time that's been captured. I think the 3rd. Spectre now coming in. Raptor on this left hand side. Spectre going to take out the strategy center again. That's now 5,000 lost on strategy centers. Possibly a supply going down there from the Spectre as well. We've now got loads of Raptors out. I think we've got 3 Raptors in total. That Raptor is probably just going to be on guard air mode and it's probably just going to strike that straight away. That's actually a pretty decent move. Now the V's going to get picked off. This is what I mean. I don't know why Bowzer was like kind of macroing up and whatever, because you're just going to get torn apart later on by the Air Force, and as I say that, Bowzer quits and it's GG. Well played by Curious. I really feel that earlier on Bowzer did really, really well. A few little mistakes and whatever. Lost the occasional V for no reason, but and also could have laser locked some Chinooks. That was definitely winnable for Bowzer, but ultimately he just didn't keep up with Taz, didn't keep it at the pressure, and Curious, or aka Taz as I keep saying, just pulled it out of the bag and closed out the game. So well played by him. Okay, so now we are on cold territory. We've got Bowzer with GLA in the north in the red, and in the south we've got Curious with USA in the blue. I actually probably prefer to have probably would prefer GLA in this matchup because this map GLA can because there's like kind of 3 ways. You got that way, you got that way, and you got that way, which all are kind of bunkerable, but then at the same time USA is going to be under pressure because there's 3 different directions that GLA can come from. And go over here and drop off some RPGs from a technical and whatever. It's going to be hard pressure, but as long as USA can hold on and push out, he's got like 3 Vs on an ambulance, 3 full Vs on an ambulance, actually can cause some serious damage. So in terms of build orders, then what we're seeing on the left hand side, we've got Curious going for a barracks, a little bit different, but ultimately it's the same war factory and barracks. Barracks is probably going to be putting a missile defender in there, maybe in some of these buildings in the center to kind of seal that off. And in the north we've got Bowzer, also playing pretty standard. Tunnel in the middle, tunnel on the left. That tunnel is a little bit too far forward in my opinion. Should be back there so it can defend itself with the bunker. Little things like this that might come to bite him, come back to bite him later on. V gonna go and run over a worker. Actually going to probably get in the supply line, but this technical is probably going to beat it to it. It's going to go to slow speed, and that technical is ultimately going to be able to kill it. Probably vet up, and probably take the scrap as well. Yeah. So bad move by Curious. If there's any doubt that you might not be able to run over the worker, probably safest bet is to run go back. Bowzer's now under a little bit of pressure. He's 2-1 down. Needs to get this back to 2-2. Let's see if he can. He needs to continuously keep up the pressure. This is one of the ways of doing it, is by sending tech RPGs like this. You want to just be unloading there. You don't really want to be going for a 5 basis. You see, because you didn't really achieve much there. This is a really weird, messy engagement. Technicals against Vs. Actually, he's done pretty well. He's actually taken out 2 Vs and actually taken out a Dozer. But actually, ultimately, he's not killed any buildings and he's not done any harassment at all. So actually, it's not so bad for Curious. Only lost 2 Vs. Dozer you don't really care about. It's going to make this one a little bit more vulnerable because Bowzer only has to go for that now and it's a win. But what I would have done is probably unloaded the RPGs here. You want to be harassing and keeping Curious off the money and forcing the Vs to go back there and engage it. But actually, you say that, he's actually doing pretty well. He's taking out 3 Vs now, which is actually not so bad. But he has not killed any buildings, which is what you should have been doing with the terrorists rather than... He's the second time he's done that as well, because the game earlier when he was trying to kill the Air Force, he was trying to kill the airfield. He unloaded weirdly there as well. Unloaded like 2 terrorists and 2 RPGs, which is not going to kill anything. You need to go either with a tech full of terrorists or a tech full of RPGs, and that's it. So we've got plenty of technicals out now because of the weird placement with the barracks. The Vs aren't going to be there in time to clear up all the technicals and save all the missile defenders. A few missile defenders went down, but ultimately the Vs got there just in time and actually killed some of the technicals. Now I've got a Crusader from Curious. You see what I mean about this wide map and the 3 different entrances. Curious has kind of got to spread himself thin and be all over the place. In the meantime, Bowzer should be on 3 supplies. He is on 3 supplies, but these tunnels are probably going to be going down, and the reason they're going to be going down is because they're too far forward. You need to be... Actually, he's going to take out a V. That's very nice with that pop. But ultimately, they need to be... That one needs to be back there, that one needs to be back there, and this supply needs to be back there. It's very... they're very out in the open, and these Vs eventually should be able to clear that up, I would imagine. Bowzer continuing to keep the pressure. It's actually looking very decent for Bowzer. Actually, he's not doing so bad, but Curious is actually playing really well. Actually securing the sides. He's got that bunkered off. He's got a fire base there as well. That tunnel has gone down. You see what I mean about being too far forward? And actually, now if Taz goes forward, he should be able to take out some of these workers. The technicals now coming out to engage, but the technicals aren't going down. I think about 2 went down there. The supply's going to get taken out as well. Supply should be way back here, and the tunnel should be there, and this would be a lot easier to handle. Taz continuing to push forward and actually taking out that tunnel, and that's the reason why he should have built it there, just like I said in the start of the game. Supply's going down now, and this is actually looking very bad because some of these Vs are vetted up now, so that was vet 2. A lot of these units have survived. In the meantime, the strategy center is now up. Supply is back up on the right hand side instead of the left. Palace now going up for Bowzer. No units in there, which is a big mistake. You want to put at least 1 RPG in there. It's such a strong position. Just from 1 RPG, which is $300, it becomes such a strong like fortification. Like that whole area becomes kind of impassable for Curious then. You can kind of just heal it. If you put like 2 or 3 RPGs in, it completely becomes impassable unless you're getting flashbangs or you've got loads of units out. Bow's now kind of scrambling some kind of defense. On this left hand side we've got more Vs, 1 more V and 1 ambulance coming forward. And actually if you let Curious in that's going to be really, really hard. Because that's now like a little fortification or outpost for Curious to kind of regroup and then just kind of heal, and there's nothing really Bowzer can do to chase him out of that spot now. As long as them Vs hang around there, you're going to be killing any toxin tractors and stuff like that. Bowzer just a little bit too sloppy with GLA in my opinion, not just in this game but in the GLA versus air game as well. Even though he won it, I just felt he was a little bit sloppy the way he was doing like terrorists and RPGs in the same technical but not making enough terrorists. A little bit weird. Big engagement here. That Crusader getting really low, 1V getting picked off. Ultimately, V's continuing to push forward. In the meantime, Taz is securing more of that left-hand side spot. But the most important thing really is Curious is just completely tearing through the base. I think the barracks has gone down, now the supply has gone down. All these workers are going to go down. Buggy is now out, but that should have been cancelled because this is completely pointless. That war factory is going to go down. It's just more and more XP. Oil's coming in a little bit late, 7 minutes is late. That third supply should have gone down over here, and then the oil should have been captured straight away. But this is all because Bowzer was not keeping the pressure on in the beginning and not dealing enough damage or harassment to buildings and to combat Chinooks. That palace looks like it has got some stuff inside of it. And that was an A10. It's taking out one tunnel. Not going to do really much damage because that tunnel can just be rebuilt. In the meantime, this supply here is being rebuilt. Oil being captured for Curious on this left hand side. Supply also going down. We've got some missile defenders, we've got pathfinders out, power going down. These buildings being cleared out in the center. Bowzer losing more and more map control. You can see he's kind of squashed now. And not sure what he's doing there. I think they were rebels. I was checking then if the Crusader had the upgrade for the armor. Things like 20% extra armor. In the meantime, Curious taking out some tunnels over here with the Tomahawks. They've got a massive range because he's got Search and Destroy out. Their range increases, I think, by 20%, so that's a massive increase. V's coming forward here. Buggy's going down. These are expensive units. Can't remember if he's GLA. I think he's just normal GLA. Curious closes it out. Those V's now Vet 3 and Vet 2. Really hard to kill, and Taz is actually making another supply there. So Taz completely secured his game from the beginning, really well defended, and Bowzer was just sloppy with the attacks. Like, I know he killed a few V's, but that's not really what yeah, that's a bonus, and you want to be killing V's, but the main thing you want to be doing is harassing the Chinooks, forcing Curious out of place while you attack somewhere else with distraction techs and stuff like that. So well played by Curious. That takes it to 3-1. Okay, so now we are on, I don't know if it's called Hard Winter, this map, I'm not 100% sure, but another snowy map, similar to Cold Territory before. We've got Curious in the bottom right as super weapon, in the top left we've got Bowzer with Laser. I would say Bowzer has now got the army advantage because Laser is more powerful. The reason is that you can make cheap Avengers at 1500, you can make 2 supplies, a War Factory barracks, and still make a laser turret without any power upgrade. You can have it just with the standard power, but the most importantly, the V's are only 700, whereas Curious's V's are going to be 850. So it's probably, if you did a V battle, just War Factory barracks and 2 supplies for each player, probably the laser's going to have the advantage, so you'll probably see Curious is going to do more infantry focus. So as I say, that is placing down a second barracks. Both players looking like they're going to go for a drop. Bowzer's looking like a little bit faster. Maybe wrong. About the same size. Sorry, it's about the same speed. Going to cross identical in the middle. Identical places. Curious going for a drop. That Dozer should go down. Should get laser lock. Really instant laser lock. In the meantime, Curious actually moved that Chinook back and actually taking no damage. And meanwhile, that Dozer is going to go down, and that missile defender is going to get left there. No ranger in sight. Well, there's a ranger there, but it's so far away that it's going to stop Bowzer collecting for a while. Actually, looking pretty good start for Curious. Remember, Bowzer only has to lose 1 more, and then he's out of the tournament. Another drop from Curious. That's that same one that dropped off over there, is now over here taking out a Chinook. That's really bad for Bowzer. He doesn't want to be doing that. It's also kept his command center, so he's not going to get the 1,000 cash advantage that Curious has got. In the meantime, he's going to go for some aggression himself. He should have done what Taz did and actually left a missile defender over there while he attacked over here, and that forces Taz not to collect anywhere, basically. Another drop coming here. It's going to try and take out the Dozer. I imagine the Dozer is going to run away. But over here, the Rangers are now going to chase away these missile defenders. This missile defender is still here, so Bowzer's not been collecting this whole time. He's only got 1 Chinook as well. Say that actually, there is 1 over here as well, but only 1 collecting. Dozer's going to go down. In the meantime, Curious actually getting the oils. You see what I mean about him being more infantry focused? I think Bowzer made a War Factory, but actually he's not produced anything from it. Rangers finally clear up those missile defenders, but those missile defenders have already achieved what they wanted to achieve. They killed 1 Chinook and stopped this mining time a lot. Another Chinook taking damage from Bowzer, the base of Curious. Not sure what's actually inside that. Got 3 missile defenders still. But Curious has now got 2 oils, so it doesn't matter about the money advantage I told you before with the cheaper Vs. For Bowzer, now he's got 2 oils, that's 1,000 from each oil every minute. There is a little bit of a mistake here from Curious, so he's actually losing a Chinook. He's going to go down just to 1. Ranger does finally kill it. I don't know why he was paying attention instead. That missile defender is still there. That command center needs to be sold and needs to pump out some units and do some damage now, because Curious is now looking pretty strong. He's on 4. Is he on 4 Chinooks? So he's on 3 Chinooks. 2 supplies. Got some Vs out. Whereas the enemy's only got 2 Chinooks, no oils. Curious has got the oils. So actually it's not looking so great. I heard some power go down there. He's made that Patriot missile. This is looking very bad for Bowzer. Unless Bowzer got some insane micro and macro coming up, I'm going to say that this might be out of the tournament for him, because these Vs now coming forward. Bowzer doesn't really have an answer for it. This V is also low. He's going to go back to the War Factory to repair, but ultimately it's going to go down. Now Bowzer not collecting at all again. Not got very much money. He needs to be dropping off there. Bowzer actually just quits. He's been completely outclassed by Curious in this first round, which actually I wasn't really expecting. I was expecting a lot closer of a game, but Curious just on fire, playing really well, and actually closed that game out. I'm just going to update the score while we're here. So that's going to be 4-1 to Bowzer. It was it was best of 7, so first to win 4 games. So Curious will go on to the next round, face whoever wins the other side of his bracket. So yeah, GG. Hopefully you enjoyed that first game, guys. Some pretty decent games to start off with, and I'll be back ASAP with the next game. So cheers for tuning in. I'll see you soon.